Good afternoon. It's McCollum on Business. I'm Stephen McCollum. For the next 30 minutes or so, I'm going to get you updated on what's happening around the business world. Of course, we'll check in with that Market Watch, which includes the indexes and stocks we're paying attention to, plus local and national stories you need to know after the Labor Day, a 3-day weekend for the business side. Of course, we were off yesterday. Appreciate you joining us here live at 11 o'clock. And those of you that have found the YouTube page already, even though we haven't really been advertising it, we appreciate you as well out there. And folks, let's get it rolling with the Market Watch. And stocks are way down today, folks, right? So tariff worries are a big issue. Of course, court stuff happening. Well, it'll be our big story here as we get into the stories. Rising bond yields today do affect the stock market as well. And then everything is way down, right? Dow Jones is down to 377 points right now to 45,204. S&P 500 is down 74 points to 6397. Nasdaq's down 239 points to 21,215. Russell 2K, yes, the small cap index, sometimes it bucks those other indexes, not today. Down 16 points right now to 2348 for it. Bitcoin being the one that is kind of bucking everything. It's up 1,400 points today, 1,465 right now, but still trading in that 110,000 level. 110,668 for Bitcoin right now. And yes, folks, as you could tell, with being up that 1,300 and 1,400 points right now, it was in the 109,000 level over the weekend. So Bitcoin continuing to stay here at these low levels compared to where it was before, right? High 119, 118,000 levels that it was at for a long time. Treasury yields, as we just talked about, well, it all way high today, up because of the prospect of having to refund tariff money might be happening. 30-year yield, well, it's up to 4.97% here today. So the yields, the tariff worries, and that's going to be our first story here, all having the stock market kind of be negative today at the first trading day here of September. And then the stocks we're paying attention to right now. And folks, buckle up here because we have, I don't know why I do this to myself, we have some medical stocks that we're going to look at. First one, Kinetics is the first stock we're going to look at right now. Bear with me here. And we all know that I love these medical terms, and I struggle with them, so buckle up. This might be a ride. They're up 40% here, folks, 40.59% for Kinetics. Well, they're a late-stage biopharmaceutical company, and they said that they have a clinical trial of its heart disease drug, which is called Aficamten, folks. It showed a meaningful improvement in patients with symptomatic obstructive hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. That's a standard of care. Then the regular standard of care, which is traditionally used here, metoprolol is what they normally use. So a higher meaningful improvement to patients with this new drug here. And so they are up 40.59% here with the clinical trial of that heart disease drug taking off for them and having good numbers. It's not over, folks. Here comes some other big words. United Therapeutics is the next stock we're going to look at. They're a biotech, obviously, as well, up 34.19% here today. They said its Teton 2 study, well, that evaluates the use of nebulized Tyvaso. It's an inhalant solution. They say that this study to treat idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, it actually met its primary efficacy endpoint. For that. So another successful trial drug here for United Therapeutics Corporation, causing their stock to be up 34.26%. Then the one that makes me sweat here as I get ready to do this one, we got to talk about them, Ionis Pharmaceuticals out there. They make RNA-targeted medicines. They're also up huge today, 32.56%. Well, if you caught on to the last two drug companies being way up, well, this one also had a successful trial here. Well, they say that their phase 3 core and core 2 studies of their drug olezarsen in patients with severe, here we go, folks, hypertriglyceridemia. Thank you. It shows a highly statistically significant placebo-adjusted mean reduction in fasting triglycerides of up to 72% and a highly statistically significant reduction in acute pancreatitis events of 85% with favorable safety and tolerability. Yes, folks, big words there. And all it says is successful phase 3 trial here for Ionis Pharmaceuticals as well for their drug, olezarsen, there as well. So 3 drug companies. I made it through that section. Whether I pronounced them right or not is another story. But 3 stocks way up today based off of the trial results here of 3 of their large drugs. When we look at stocks later on, it's going to be a little easier on me. We're going to look at Frontier Group, PepsiCo in the news big today, and then Kraft Heinz. It's official. Well, we knew the rumors out there. We'd heard the rumors before, splitting into 2 companies. We have the official results of this coming up, and boy, investors are not happy about it, including Warren Buffett as well. So that we will take a look at when we come in, look at the market watch here later in the show. But right now, obviously the big story over the weekend is that federal appeals court coming out on Friday. And they actually came out and ruled that Donald Trump had misused his authority, was their words, when he imposed those tariffs under an emergency powers statute. And that basically they ruled that only Congress has the power to apply such sweeping tariff measures at that point. So this all came out Friday. And the interesting thing is they ruled this, and then they said that the tariffs can actually stay in place while the case proceeds. It's going to go up to the Supreme Court. They specifically said in their ruling, tariffs are a core congressional power, according to the Constitution. So obviously this ruling affects 2 sets of tariffs Trump has sought to impose. Not all of them, just a couple sets. So the first one are the country to country, those reciprocal tariffs. Those are being affected by this ruling. They now range in scope from 34%, like for instance at China, and then they have that 10% baseline that's out there for the rest of the world. So these ruling also will affect the 25% tariff Trump imposed on some goods from Canada, China, Mexico. That's when they called the failure on their parts for the opioid and the fentanyl flows, right? So both of those tariffs are what are in danger here with this ruling. Of course, they stay into effect as well, but the Friday's ruling does not affect tariffs implemented under other laws that President Trump has done. So these ones like 50% steel and aluminum tariffs, well, that's not affected by this ruling. Those tariffs were implemented under various sections of the Trade Act of 1974 and the Trade Expansion Act of 1962. So it wasn't part of that emergency action and law at that point. As I said, it's most likely going to go to the U.S. Supreme Court. I do find it interesting. They ruled it illegal, and then they let them stay in place. So generally, if that happens, well, that means they might know they're going to be overruled, I'm guessing, going forward. Obviously, I'm not a trial judge or follow those types of things strategically, but if they were pretty confident that it was going to hold up in court, they would have just outlawed them and made them stop it, which is where we're getting, this ruling is getting, because if this is ruled unconstitutional at the end here when we get to the Supreme Court, well, that means you're going to have to pay people back on their tariffs that they've paid. Hence, stock market down today on that fear, because it also yields way up today as well based on that fear. Because we're talking billions of dollars in repayment to a lot of countries if this is ruled unconstitutional out there. So something for us to keep our eyes on, of course, here in this ruling. And then let's go to, a lot of cyber attacks lately. We've commented about them here, and we tell you about them. Jaguar Land Rover is the latest retail company, and specifically their retail and production activities were severely disrupted because they were attacked by a ransomware group. We've seen a lot of these stories this year where companies are getting hit hard by these ransomwares. If you don't know Jaguar, well, it's a UK-based automaker, but it's owned by an Indian company. Tata Motors actually owns them. They came out in a statement earlier today, and they said it took immediate action to mitigate its impact by proactively shutting down its systems after being impacted by a cyber incident. This marks the latest in those strings of cyber and ransomware attacks that have impacted companies around the globe because it's happened a lot to a lot of big companies out there, not just here in the United States as well. But we're learning from this is hackers and these ransomware people are becoming more sophisticated around a lot of these systems. If you remember, Aflac was targeted over the summer, a big one for them. There were a bunch of other ones. And these companies need to be stepping up to get ahead of these hackers and these quote unquote bad actors going after it, because this is another large company getting taken down at that point. And another large company, this one's based in Switzerland, but a lot of products sold here. We're talking about Nestle, right? Their official company name is Nestle SA. Well, big news here is they've appointed a new CEO unexpectedly. They've had to. Well, because their former CEO, well, he was fired. He was ousted because of an inappropriate workplace relationship less than a year into the role. I don't get why guys do this. Like, I get why guys do it. I don't understand why they do it, I should say. Well, Nestle did come out and say Lauren Frexie was removed following an investigation into a romantic relationship with a direct subordinate. That, of course, violates Nestle's code of business conduct. And being a Swiss company, they don't take that lightly. He is leaving the company without an exit package, also because of this misdeed. So Chairman Paul Berkeley and lead independent director Pablo Isla, well, they oversaw the investigation, found out it was real, and, of course, unannounced deal. So they moved on from him. Actually, their statement was interesting. They said this is a necessary action based off of the behavior there of the now ex-CEO for them. Well, now Philip Navari is going to take over as CEO, and they didn't put an interim tag to his name. They flat out said it's his role moving forward here. So Nestle, new CEO unexpectedly from that side. And then if you've been following this Cracker Barrel stuff, just a little backstory here. I know you know about the logo and the remodel and how it's been rejected by the consumer base, investors, etc. Well, during this whole process, before Cracker Barrel moved back to the old deal, there was an interesting thing happening on X and on the social medias, right? And I didn't quite understand it, but the more you look into it, it makes a little bit more sense. Steak and Shake, that fast food company, was doing a lot of barbs out there, right, on X, kind of attacking Cracker Barrel for these moves and what they're doing out there. Well, now Cracker Barrel has actually, shot back, right, at the head of Steak and Shake and his words on that he's doing at X and everything. His name is Sardar Beglari, is the owner there of Steak and Shake as well. And Cracker Barrel basically is saying that he is self-interested, and they put some personal charges on him specifically as well after his attacks there on X. So Sardar Beglari is the fast food chain Steak and Shake's CEO right now. He has criticized Cracker Barrel's rebrand on social media, and Cracker Barrel called him a poor performance, and they called him as his poor performance as a CEO a cautionary tale. That's what Cracker Barrel said, with lashing out with him specifically. So I always wondered why Steak and Shake attacking Cracker Barrel on X and everything. Well, you look into it, right? And Beglari took over Steak and Shake after a year-long proxy battle back in 2008. Well, he's also one of Cracker Barrel's largest shareholders out there. Yes. So he owns Cracker Barrel stock through his No Lion Fund and other entities. And this is all according to his latest SEC filing. He has waged numerous proxy fights against the board of Cracker Barrel since he first bought shares back in 2011. He became chairman of the board and CEO of Western Sizzling back in 2006, also following a proxy fight. So he doesn't sit back and get awarded companies. He goes and fights for controlling interest of these companies as well. And, of course, Steak and Shake merged with Weston Sizzlin, with him under his Beglari Holdings Corporation back in 2010. So the largest shareholder of Cracker Barrel is the one that's actually doing the attacking on X, so as well. So Beglari has long raged against the board of Cracker Barrel for pursuing what he believes to be poor business decisions that hurt Cracker Barrel's brand. He waged 6 proxy battles and 7 contested solicitations against Cracker Barrel's board since 2011, obviously seeking to install himself or even some of his nominees onto the board. He's tried multiple times to do it. Cracker Barrel's rebuffed him most of the times. He's called for a replacement of the former Cracker Barrel CEO. Her name was Sandra B. Cochran. He also blasted the company's rebrand and called for increased dividends to shareholders in his many actions against the board. He's criticized the board publicly in open letters issued in 2021 and 22. And of course, all has to be done through SEC filings when you're a shareholder. So it makes a little bit more sense on why Steak and Shake on X and it was attacking Cracker Barrel's remodel and the label change here, because he was flat out telling them that they've lost touch with everything out there. Most of Baglari's motions were rejected unanimously by the Cracker Barrel board, but in 2022, he actually succeeded in getting one of his nominees onto the Cracker Barrel board. In order to do so, it was in exchange for a 2-year standstill agreement. So basically, it obligated him to stop pursuing proxy battles and disparaging the company publicly. So, so this is the battle happening here. Cracker Barrel said Biglari didn't present any issues with the company's planned rebrand during a June 2024 meeting that he requested with the new CEO, the one that did the rebranding and all over the world, talking about the new branding and design label there. Her name is Julie Fels Masano, the CEO currently involved. And basically, they're saying no objection was made in that meeting. He did attend the meeting, Biglari did, according to Cracker Barrel, and other members of Cracker Barrel were there as well at that time. But, so they say he didn't object to anything. Well, Steak and Shake COO Dan Edwards told Fox News Digital that Biglari offered Masano concise advice at a prior March 2024 meeting only for Cracker Barrel to turn around and attack him publicly. And now he's attacking them publicly as well. It's just fascinating battle here between obviously the largest shareholder of Cracker Barrel and Cracker Barrel itself with this failed remodel. So this is what happens, man. Like, I know he's been fighting him for a while, but they opened up the door for him to fight more and harder with this failed remodel that they've gone through and branding that they've gone through as well. So we talked food. We talked Nestle and chocolate. We talked food here as well with Cracker Barrel and Steak and Shake. Well, now let's talk a little bit of movies out there, because this year's Labor Day weekend was not a good one in terms of new movies out, etc. A lot of old ones out there. By the way, Labor Day in movie theater eyes, in terms of movie company eyes, is a time where people catch up on summer movies that they haven't seen yet and everything. So that means movie ticket sales were down this year. A 50-year-old shark actually kind of came in and helped dominate the market as well. Yes, Jaws is 50 years old, folks. Before I was born, that movie came out. So there was the re-release of Jaws. That's a Universal Pictures, obviously Steven Spielberg classic from 1975. It finished second at the box office this weekend, $9.9 million. Weapons, by the way, number one again this week. That continues to have legs out there. $12.78 million for that movie as well for the holiday weekend as well. So the Labor Day weekend earnings totaled about $82.9 million from Friday to Monday. So that was short of the $100 million mark achieved back in 2023 and 2024. 2023 had a $115 million weekend. Last year, $104.9 million in that time frame. So Weapons and Jaws are the big movies out to go catch last weekend as well. And then, if you want to get away this weekend and you flew out of town, maybe you flew Spirit Airlines, maybe you didn't. Well, if you heard anything on Spirit Airlines, was the experience different? Yeah, because they came out on Friday and said they filed for another bankruptcy protection. This, of course, just a few months, right, after they emerged from their last Chapter 11 reorganization back in March. So the Spirit Airlines is that ultra low-cost airline is what they call them. They say they plan to keep flying as usual during the restructuring process. And so that basically means passengers can still book trips and use their tickets, credits, and loyalty points. Employees and contractors can continue to get paid. Fingers crossed, the company came out and said so. CEO Dave Davis said the airline's previous Chapter 11 petition had actually focused on basically redoing their debt and raising capital on that last bankruptcy. And since exiting that process back in March, they said it has become clear that there is much more work to be done and many more tools are available to best position Spirit for the future. So he's got some positive outlooks there, and I don't have those same positive outlooks for him. Flight attendants were told by their union, and they were warned by their union leaders to prepare for all possible scenarios, including obviously an airline shutdown. So Spirit Airlines carries $2.4 billion in long-term debt. Most is coming up due in 2030. They have reported a negative free cash flow of $1 billion at the end of the second quarter. They're losing $1 billion a quarter, folks. Friday's news comes as, when Spirit, as we know, is under pressure from those bigger airlines. Because all the bigger airlines, American, United, etc., they've all rolled out their own low-cost offerings. Spirit is attempting to tap into a growing market for more upscale travel. They're trying to do that tiered pricing, more perks and, budget, more legroom pricing, etc., kind of what the other airlines do as well. And if you remember, a quarterly report issued earlier this month, Spirit's parent company there is called Spirit Aviation Holdings. They revealed that it had substantial doubt about its ability to stay in business over the next year. They have cash problems, as you know, with $1 billion loss out there. The company, the airline, continues to kind of blame it on adverse market conditions, on why they're having these cash flow problems. People aren't booking flights as much as they are. This is an airline big problem as well. So Spirit Airlines continues to struggle a bit, and that's why we'll take a look at their competitor in that ultra low-cost airline space, right? Frontier Airlines in our next Market Watch coming up here after our break. And then kind of just a whole economy side of things. If you notice, right, things aren't as busy as they used to be. It's quieter in some industries than it has been before. Well, we got some official words here that more than 1.2 million immigrants have disappeared from the labor force from January through the end of July. This is all according to preliminary Census Bureau data analyzed by the Pew Research Center and released over the weekend. So this does include people in the country illegally, as well as legal residents as well, immigrants that are here legally. Immigrants make up about 20% of the U.S. workforce. That data does show 45% of workers are in farming, fishing, and forestry. Well, those are immigrants in those specific industries as well. About 30% of construction workers are immigrants. 24% of service workers are immigrants. So just kind of a breakdown here of the industry sides here. So obviously this loss in immigrant workers comes as the nation's seeing the first decline in overall immigrant population, because the number of people in the U.S. illegally reached an all-time high of 14 million people back in 2023. So we're seeing net impact here. Obviously, we know why. President Trump's sweeping raids out there with ICE, etc., moving people out of the country. So you're not messing up. You're not blind on it. I do in real estate investment, rental houses, and rental houses have become slower. People looking for rental houses, right? As people are moving out. We've had some people move out that wanted to move back either to Mexico or move to another state that was more friendly to people and immigrants and stuff like that. So it is an interesting thing happening out there, and you see a lot of places in California that was immigrant heavy, just being kind of look like ghost towns right now. So it's definitely out there, and it's the first time I've seen actual numbers put to what we are seeing from that side. And folks, break yourselves. The overlords at McDonald's came out this morning. They announced that it's expanding its value offerings in a bid, of course, to reach you price-conscious consumers. You people that are tired of paying an arm and a leg for McDonald's food out there. So starting this Monday coming up, the fast food at McDonald's becoming a little bit cheaper because of that extra value meal that they're bringing back. These were last promoted before the COVID-19 pandemic. You will save 15% on the combo meals compared with buying the entree by itself. fries and a drink. So it's the meals that they have. And there will be breakfast on here as well as lunch and as well, and their sandwich, some of their sandwiches coming up here. So about 15% savings on the combo meal compared to buying them individually. For more than a year, McDonald's and its rivals have been trying and relying on discounts on deals to lure customers back into their restaurants. They had the $5 discount there for a while, and they kept extending it and extending it and extending it because of the success. We all know traffic to fast food chains has been shrinking, mainly because of the pullback on spending by low-income consumers. Not just that, but also the price increases keep people away as well. Last summer, if you remember, we told you McDonald's rolled out that $5 value menu. It extended the promotion past its initial run. It was so successful. It later added a buy one, get one for $1 deal to its menu as well. And that saved me a little bit with hash browns over the summer with the kids out of school and everything. So the overlords of McDonald's bringing some value meals to you guys as well coming up starting Monday. So we'll see. 15% off probably makes it still too expensive, but we'll have to see what they do from that side. And let's talk a little bit of sports here, right? The college football season is in full swing now. After this weekend, week 0 was a week and a half ago. Big weekend there. Arizona State, Arizona both won over the weekend against their foes. And, that's going. And the NFL starts this Thursday night. You got a Thursday night, a Friday night, Sunday games here. Of course, then a Monday nighter as well. Well, the NFL's regular season means some big money here coming some sportsbooks ways. Sportsbooks are getting ready for the largest opportunity of the year to sign up new customers. And of course, if you sign up with them, that'll grow the wagering pot with these companies because Americans are expected to wage $30 billion on just the NFL this season through legal gambling. $30 billion. That will be a record if that happens. Not only that, it's an 8.5% increase from last year as well. These are all estimates put out by the American Gaming Association out there. So $30 billion, a record, 8.5% up. That's just legal gambling. There's some outside. There's lawsuits against some offshore companies, Bovada. There's a couple other ones that like State of California is suing, trying to get them shut down from operating in California. Those don't count as legal betting dollars, right? $30 billion would be like FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM, Caesars. Those types of sites is where those are the legal side, man. 30, just to get a piece of that, right, would be fascinating to see. And when we come back here, speaking of sports, well, inevitably, right, we're in a consumer world. The tush push, which is that Philadelphia Eagles move, we're going to have an update on that. Yes, it's America. We got to have a sponsor for it. And guess who the sponsor is? We'll tell you that coming up, of course. We'll look at Frontier Airlines. And a couple other stocks that mean a lot to us, PepsiCo as well. So come on back here. It's McCollum on Business, Tuesday edition. See you in just a few minutes. And we're back here, McCollum on Business. Appreciate you joining me. Tuesday edition. Forgot it was a 3-day weekend out there. Gotta remember those sorts of things here, right? As we get into this Tuesday edition, we'll be here the rest of the week, of course, live at 11 o'clock from McCollum on Business. For those of you that catch us live at Robat TV, appreciate it very much. It is our biggest audience out there, of course. You catch us on demand at Robat TV as well. We go on the YouTube page now is where we're putting these shows. Haven't done any external monitoring of it or advertising of it at all. A couple of you have found it out there, and we appreciate it very much. Of course, let us know. Send us messages on the social medias, on YouTube. Let us know how we can kind of improve the show for you. And new guys out there, new guys and gals watching us here as well. And we appreciate you joining us out there. Of course, you saw the ad for the pit stop there every Wednesday or Thursday, depending on the week and what's happening around the racing world. We do a show there as well. Get you set up. Truck Series playoffs began over the weekend. Cup Series playoffs began over the weekend as well. So we have guys moving on to the next round with their wins. Of course, the Xfinity Series, well, their regular season ends this weekend. So we have a big push for the playoff there as well. Catch up on all of that coming up as well. Don't forget, Robat TV, they're all up on demand. YouTube, we have last week's show up on YouTube. We'll put some other ones up. I don't expect anybody to go back and watch some older ones out there. And, of course, that has a free podcast as well on Podbean. Just search the Pit Stop Talk. Hit us up on social media as well. You'll find our name there. And just follow us for your racing-based news if that's an interest for you. Then, of course, you got the main event, 8 to 10 a.m. today. We did a lot of college football talk at the end of the show. We'll delve into some more of the ASU stuff here that we talked about at the end of the show. Of course, NFL starts this week. Diamondbacks, big injuries. We're just waiting for the MRI results here of Lourdes Gurriel Jr., who went down with a probable serious knee injury last night. It's a fun time to be doing these programs. Make sure you join us as well. And it's going to be a fun week here with the short week as well, and NFL starting. Main event, on demand now, free podcast on your favorite podcast system as well. And then, of course, Robat TV also out there. So, folks, let's move on with the Market Watch. Everything's down today. We've told you why all show, right? Tariff worries. Are we going to have to pay back some tariffs with those judges' rulings, etc.? Rising bond yields because of it. Well, it's just happening everywhere out there right now, and everything's down except for Bitcoin. But I would argue Bitcoin is down because, a lot of people were buying it at 114, 115, 117, 119,000. Well, Dow Jones right now is down that 450 points. The S&P 500 is down the 83 points. NASDAQ's down 285. Russell 2K, the small cap index, down 20 points as well today. Bitcoin's up to 1,287 points right now to 110,519 right now as it keeps fluctuating on us. And Bitcoin kind of bucking the trend of the rest of the market right now. But as I said, in terms of its standard, we're used to it being in that 114, 119 range. Well, 110,000 for Bitcoin. Ooh, we'll have to see, man. Is this the new norm for Bitcoin? Or is it stable here at this price and slowly go up, or are we going to see those big ups and downs is kind of the big question out there. Stocks we're paying attention to right now. Well, we talked about Spirit Airlines and how they filed for bankruptcy again. Let's look at their direct competitor, Frontier Group, out there. Of course, Frontier Airlines, 13.67% up here. Well, this is all because of the bankruptcy filing from Spirit. Obviously, they've tried merging before. It's failed and everything. But obviously, if Spirit goes out of business, that's going to help Frontier Airlines in their growth, as they will be the only airline. We told you last week in a big story how Frontier is taking over or going into a lot of places, including Spirit's home base of Fort Lauderdale, and attacking them directly. Well, Frontier Group up big today based off of that news. And then let's talk about PepsiCo, because, folks, there is a investor battle about to happen with Pepsi. We saw it with Southwest Airlines here with who bought into Pepsi. Pepsi's up 1.79% right now here today. Word is that activist investor Elliott Management, same ones that went into Southwest and enforcing all these changes to them. Well, Elliott Management took a $4 billion stake in PepsiCo as well. And then they said when they did so, they said they were basically saying that it was a rare and historic opportunity for a turnaround of the iconic soft drink and snack company. That's how they phrased it here after doing a $4 billion stake in them as well. So it was first reported by the Wall Street Journal, and now Elliott Management is one of Pepsi's five largest active investors. Yikes. So that means they're going to have a lot of play, right? Like Southwest Airlines, for instance. They actually sent a presentation and letter to Pepsi's board of directors earlier today, which detailed an agenda of restoring business momentum for Pepsi. Remember, Pepsi's struggling, but not just that, but their Frito-Lay division, where they're raising prices and shrinking their bags. People aren't buying it as much because of it. Shrinkflation hitting that side big. Then you got the drink side as well, struggling. People move away from the sodas into some of those probiotics and stuff that they're getting into, energy drinks that they're into. Well, PepsiCo, well, the investors like that Elliott Management has invested a $4 billion stake into them, 1.65% up here for Pepsi here today. And then Kraft Heinz, it is officially official. And this is why they are down 7.40% right now. Well, they have confirmed the earlier reports that's going to split up into two publicly traded companies. The companies will be named at a later date on, which one each going to be called and everything. One unit, it currently goes by Global Taste Elevation. Yeah, don't call your company that. Nobody will like it. That'll include Kraft's shelf-stable products. That'll be Kraft mac and cheese, the Heinz products, etc. On that side, the other company will be called North American Grocery. That's what it's called now. It'll be changed there, we're assuming. That'll include the brands such as Oscar Mayer, Lunchables as well. That brand is struggling as Lunchables unhealthy for you, etc. out there. Not everybody's happy about it. As you can see, 7.44% down. The headline right now, because I pulled it up, CNBC, the headline on CNBC with all of this information out there, Treasury yields, the judge's rulings against President Trump out there. The headline story is Warren Buffett tells CNBC he's disappointed in the Kraft Heinz split. So even the big people with lots of money into Kraft Heinz not happy with the split here. So have to keep our eyes here on this movement there of Kraft Heinz. But finally announcing the official thing that has been kind of a not well kept secret over the last several months for them. And folks, in terms of the sports side of things, the Philadelphia Eagles get underway Thursday night against the Dallas Cowboys, and they have a play called the Tush Push. Even if you're not a football fan, I'm sure you've heard of it. A lot of the NFL wanted the play banned, and it kind of got overruled. It's still allowed to go, and because we're in America right now, well, it's got to have a sponsor, and Dude Wipes is the company stepping up. They announced earlier today Dude Wipes is the lead sponsor of the play. So every time it goes out there, yeah, they're going to have to say the Dude Wipes Tush Push. That's so stupid. What are we doing? As part of this partnership, fans can expect a steady stream of collaborative social content throughout the NFL season. Product sampling and team-hosted events and post-game radio segments as well. So, of course, Dude Wipes is going to celebrate every time there's a tush push out there. The Eagles have converted a first down or scored a touchdown on roughly 87% of the tush pushes since 2022. They've obviously made a couple Super Bowls in that time frame, one last year as well. And with that big play was a big part of that win there on the tush push side of things. So, we got to have a sponsor, right? I don't get it, but good for Dude Wipes, I guess, right? In local news, I should say. Hey, we told you about a big semiconductor packaging facility that was being built here from a company called Amcor. They're based out of Tempe. Well, some changes coming up for them because that $2 billion semiconductor packaging and testing facility, it's being relocated here, right, to the West Valley now as well. They were originally planning to, they're now planning to build this on a 104-acre site within a more than 800-acre parcel of state land that the city of Peoria won in an Arizona trust land auction last week. City of Peoria won this for $46.7 million from that state trust land. So this new site where they're going to build it, it's going to be at the Loop 303 and Lake Pleasant Parkway is the area it's going up at. They had originally planned to build it on a 56-acre site. It wasn't too far away out there in the West Valley, but it was at 5 north of Estancia Community. That's on Lone Mountain Parkway in the Loop 303. So not a big difference, but a bigger area where they're moving to as well. They said the move was made to basically because of the increased market demands, larger project scope as well. So that requires Amcor to need more space, is what City of Peoria put a statement out on this as well. So construction is expected to begin in the first phase of the new facility coming up in September. It'll be phase one will include a processing facility, several other additional structures supposed to be completed in late 2027. And then, of course, we'll see where they go after that as well. So now what's going to happen? That's also in City of Peoria. What's going to happen with that original location where Amcor was going to build? Well, City of Peoria announced that Honor Health Campus is coming to that original location out there as well. Honor Health did sign a letter of intent with the city to build an 8-acre medical campus that'll include primary, urgent, and concierge healthcare as well from that. So that other area that they moved on from is still getting some stuff put into that. So more stuff happening there off that 303 in the West Valley. And then as a follow-up here, if you didn't heed my advice last week, well, you don't win if you don't play, folks. And Powerball, since we talked about it last week, has not had a winner yet either. It jumped to a $1.3 billion because there were no big winners last night on the drawing. Fifth largest, by the way, last night. Fifth largest prize in the Powerball history. So the largest prize obviously went unclaimed, which means it's going to jump up huge here for Wednesday night's deal. 2 tickets sold in Montana and North Carolina won $2 million. 10 tickets across 9 states garnered about a $1 million prize as well, according to the Multi-State Lottery Association, who actually runs the game, so we can trust them out there. So next chance to win will be Wednesday, folks. It'll be the 41st drawing since the jackpot last won back in May as well. So here's the news. Start thinking about this because you're going to go buy tickets, right? And if you win, you can choose to receive $1.3 billion as an annualized prize paid over 30 years. Annual payments will increase by 5% a year, or a one-time lump sum payment of $589 million. Yeah, both of those are before taxes. Yeah. The odds to win are 1 in $292.2 million, or 2 million, 1 in 292.2 million people. So you're saying there's a chance, folks. The largest jackpot on record is that $2.04 billion back in 2022 as well. So they won't hit it this week with that $1.3 billion. It's going to make a huge jump, but it's probably not going to get to the $2 billion level by Wednesday. But the longest streak without a winner, 42, was set in April of 2024, and we're at 41 now as well. So we could see 42 number at least get hit here if nobody wins on Wednesday night as well. So Powerball tickets are $2 as well. So there you go, folks. Go take your chance. And if you win, I'm not asking you to split the money with me. How about we split it? I'll take a cool $100,000. How about that? That's all I want. You can keep the rest. Deal? Let's shake on it. Folks, thanks for joining me for McCollum on Business. We'll see y'all tomorrow, of course, the day of the Powerball lottery, Wednesday coming up, 11 o'clock. Come and join us here. Of course, catch us on YouTube, on demand at Robat TV if you have the subscription, on YouTube for free as well here. We'll see y'all tomorrow, folks. Have a great Tuesday night.